Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so have you noticed how for the past decade or so, healthcare AI has basically just been a really, really smart prediction machine? We're talking more accurate diagnostics, faster image analysis, smarter risk stratification. All great stuff, right? But we are currently witnessing a massive structural transformation unfolding right before our eyes. The fundamental nature of artificial intelligence in medicine is shifting in a way that is literally going to change everything about how care is delivered. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, for years, the basic assumption has been that AI is strictly an assistive technology. A highly advanced calculator that just sits on a desk waiting for us to use it. But what we're going to dive into today is the reality of what happens when AI actually steps out of that passive role. We're moving away from an era where AI merely suggests things into an era where AI acts. We're talking about a massive leap from AI as a simple tool to AI as an active decision maker. Let's jump right into section 1, the paradigm shift, from tools to actors. What we're talking about here is not just a simple technological upgrade. Actually, scratch that. It's definitely not just getting a faster version of the software we already use. This is a structural transformation in the very architecture of healthcare. Here's the stark contrast. Traditional AI is fundamentally reactive. It waits for an input, say, a radiologist uploading an X-ray. It processes that data, and then it highlights an anomaly. The human remains firmly 100% in the loop. But autonomous agents? They are proactive. They operate continuously, they exhibit goal-oriented behavior without sitting around waiting to be prompted by a human. So let's clearly define what we're actually dealing with here. An autonomous AI agent is not just a standard machine learning model. It is a comprehensive system capable of setting its own goals, making autonomous decisions, taking actions across multiple steps, and then, crucially, learning from those outcomes. I really want you to shift your mental model right now. We need to stop thinking of AI as a complex calculator and start thinking of it as a coworker. Let's make this concrete. Imagine a patient with diabetes. Now, a traditional AI might just flag a high-risk score on a hospital chart, but an autonomous agent? It's doing so much more. It monitors the patient's data in real time. It proactively recommends a lifestyle intervention straight to the patient's phone. It automatically schedules a follow-up appointment. It even dynamically adjusts the treatment pathway based on new data. And it communicates all of this seamlessly to both the patient and the healthcare provider, all with minimal human prompting. At this point, the AI is a totally active player in the healthcare system. Which brings us to section 2, collapsing the healthcare funnel. Now, the mind-blowing implication of these autonomous agents is how they completely restructure the patient journey as we know it. We're all super familiar with the traditional linear healthcare funnel. It starts with symptom awareness. You wake up feeling sick. Then you search for information. So, you frantically Google your symptoms. Then you book a consultation, you get a diagnosis, and finally, hopefully, you get treatment. Notice something about this model? It relies entirely on the patient actively navigating an incredibly fragmented system. The patient is doing all the heavy lifting just to move from step 1 to step 5. But here is the reality check. AI breaks this assumption entirely. In a world of continuous monitoring and intelligent, proactive systems, the traditional episodic patient journey comes to a dead stop. This leads to a really profound realization from our source material. Quote, "The patient no longer moves through stages. The system moves around the patient." Think about how crazy that is. Symptoms might be detected by an agent before you even consciously perceive that you're sick. The information search is outsourced. Recommendations are pre-filtered. Decisions are pre-structured upstream long before any human interaction even happens. The whole funnel totally collapses. Healthcare shifts from being this reactive scramble to a proactive, continuous embrace. But we have to be realistic, which leads into section 3, trust, control, and the limits of autonomy. Because look, with greater agency comes immense responsibility and, frankly, extreme risks. The stakes here are astronomically high. Healthcare is not e-commerce. If a shopping algorithm makes a mistake and recommends a really bizarre sweater, it's a minor inconvenience. You have a laugh and move on. But if an autonomous medical agent makes a mistake in dynamically adjusting a treatment pathway, that error is potentially life-threatening. The margin for error here is essentially zero, which forces us to confront a really, really difficult question head-on. How much autonomy should an AI agent actually have? I mean, who is held accountable for its decisions? And how on earth do we ensure transparency when a machine is engaging in complex, multi-step medical reasoning? These are absolutely the defining hurdles we're facing right now. So, the likely outcome here is what we call graduated autonomy. It's a layered, realistic approach to integrating AI safely into the real world. For low risk tasks, like administrative scheduling and coordination, the system can be fully automated. For medium risk tasks, think continuous monitoring and suggesting recommendations, the agent operates semi autonomously. But for high risk, life altering medical decisions, those remain under strict, unyielding human oversight, no exceptions. This tiered structure is exactly how the next generation of healthcare is going to be built. Let's look at the business side in Section 4. Implications for MedTech. For the companies actually building these tools, the rise of autonomous agents isn't just a fun little feature update. It's a make-or-break strategic inflection point. There are three massive shifts happening simultaneously here. First, we're moving from standalone products to integrated systems. Value is going to come from ecosystems where agents communicate across different data sources. Second, we move from selling features to selling outcomes. Having cool AI capabilities alone won't matter. It's all about driving measurable health improvements through continuous intervention. And third, and I think this is the most fascinating part, we shift from users to interactors. The end user of a medical device might no longer be a human doctor. It might literally be another AI agent. Companies now have to design for machine-to-machine interaction. Finally, let's wrap things up with Section 5, a subtle but fundamental shift. Now, despite the immense systemic impact of everything we've just covered, you really shouldn't expect some explosive Hollywood-style breakthrough moment. Instead, this evolution is going to be gradual. We will slowly transition from episodic visits to continuous monitoring. We'll slowly shift from a reactive medical posture to a highly proactive one. And we will steadily move from purely human-driven care to hybrid intelligence systems. Over time, these autonomous agents are going to quietly migrate from the periphery of administrative tasks right into the very beating core of healthcare delivery. And that brings us to the ultimate takeaway of this explainer. The very architecture of decision-making itself is being completely redefined. Understanding this shift is no longer just a competitive advantage for clinicians, companies, and regulators. It is an absolute necessity for survival in the modern healthcare landscape. For years, we all asked, hey, can machines make better predictions than humans? Well, that question is now officially obsolete. The new question, the one that will absolutely define the future of human health and the rise of human-machine hybrid intelligence, is this. What role should machines play in making decisions? It's a pretty profound thought to leave you with today. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer, and I highly encourage you to keep questioning how these unseen agents are quietly reshaping the world around us.